Paul completely wraps the foie gras in aluminum foil, then pours hot water at the right temperature over it. Next, he places it in the oven to heat. Once the heating is complete, he uses a torch to give it a good searing. After this process, the foie gras can be perfectly removed from the mold. Then he uses a scalding hot knife to slice the foie gras. Next, he puts white sugar in the pan and caramelizes it into caramel shards. Then he takes out pineapple slices and places them at the bottom, and covers the foie gras with the caramel shards. Using the torch's high heat, he melts them again. This way they can perfectly fuse with the foie gras. Then he places a piece of strawberry mousse on top. A tender and smooth foie gras dish is now complete. After their showdown, the two contestants end up with exactly the same score. But in the end, the judges make their decision based on the food's appearance, and Paul takes home the championship, and gets to continue competing in the global culinary competition, while Jack storms off the scene in anger. After the competition, Paul discovers that his championship was bought with money by his boss, and that his girlfriend was supposed to take his place in future competitions. It turns out his girlfriend had been scheming all along, and during one taste testing session, she accidentally discovered that Paul had no sense of taste, and the only reason he could make all these dishes was by following recipes to the letter. To win the boss's favor, she secretly stole Paul's recipes when he wasn't looking and handed them over to the boss. Once they had his recipes, anyone could shine in the competition, so they fired Paul on the spot. When Jack learns about this, he immediately seeks out Paul. After a brief conversation between the two, they decide to team up for the competition. Soon enough, the competition arrives as scheduled. All the contestants on stage are frantically busy. However, these two are slowly grinding soy milk. Then, with their perfect teamwork, a Western-style mapo tofu is created. Paul's girlfriend, following his recipes, makes an oyster dish. At this point, all contestants have finished their dishes. Although their dish doesn't look particularly competitive, the judges praise it after tasting. It turns out that during the cooking process, they fused the doubanjiang with the tofu, then used beef and scallions and ginger to create explosive meatballs, and placed them on top of the tofu. This way people could experience the rich, juicy flavors. But most importantly, they used China's unique chili peppers and Sichuan peppercorns. That's why this dish won people's hearts. In the end, the two win the championship with this mapo tofu dish, and the film comes to a close.